This is 1340 WJOL. It's time for the Money Talk Radio Show, brought to you by NuMark Credit Union. Learn about purchasing a home at their first-time home buying seminar, NuMark Credit Union's Bridgeport office on Tuesday, October 28th. This event can help you save thousands of dollars on your home purchase. Come and listen to the panel of local professionals answer your home buying questions. That's right, all your questions will be answered. The event is free, and you're welcome to bring friends and family. Light sandwiches and drinks will be provided. Seating is limited. Please visit newmarkcu.org or visit a branch near you for more details. Coming up at the end of the program, we're going to give you a chance to win a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. All you got to do is listen, and at some point between now and the end of the show, I'm going to give you the answer to the question. Well, what question is it? I don't know yet. You're going to have to listen along with me and find out. Let's welcome in the Chief Information Officer for NuMark Credit Union, Mr. Kevin Quinn, who joins us live on the Chuck Furniture studio line. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning. How's it going, Scott?
Good, buddy. It's been a while since we've talked.
It's been too long. It's a lot of changes in all the time since we've last spoken, so there's a lot to cover.
About it, we've probably been through 8 different upgrades on computers, because those happen every 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. And so, yeah, it's time, I think. It's time.
Absolutely. It's good to get back together and talk with you.
Absolutely so. Well, Kevin, as we mentioned, the CIO, which means he pays attention to all things safety related. I think we should probably start with AI and emerging technologies, because AI has brought to cybersecurity all kinds of changes. Is it good, bad? Is it in the middle? I'll let you just take that and run with it, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the answer to that is it's here. So it's working on the defense as well as the offensive side right now. For security defense tools, we've got security teams that are able to leverage AI. You've got 1 million alerts coming in a day. AI tools are able to consume all of those alerts, look for patterns, speak to different systems, and consolidate those and, weed out any of the false positives, get you information on, what's really happening in the environment. And it's able to kind of grab more information than we ever were able to get before in a very, very quick way and make sense of it. So on the defensive side, it's been a big help. However, on the adversarial side, the attackers have access to those same tools. So they're using large language models to create more convincing phishing campaigns. So, 5 years ago, it might have been pretty obvious that, okay, well, this is definitely somebody trying to attack, trying to get into my environment. The language is off. It's not, maybe they use some translation tool. It's just not right, but gone are those days. The language has gotten more convincing. They're able to create now what's called polymorphic malware. And really that just means, in the beginning of this explanation, it was, the AI tools are able to corroborate information from different systems to make sense of something, to say if something's really a threat. Well, they're working on the adversarial side to say, okay, well, I want to keep changing what this tool does and what it looks like, because if I keep going this direction, they're going to see me as a threat. So now their tools are starting to respond to AI using AI. So it's become like an arms race between the two sides. And I'd say with it, on the defensive side, you've got significant investments out there from companies like Palo Alto, Google, Microsoft, everybody else. On the defensive side, they don't have that type of money to work with. But the problem is they only need to be right one time, and defenders have to be right every time.
Yeah, it's scary. It really, really is. So criminals are using AI, deep fakes and scams. It's interesting now. When I go to TikTok, or when I go to Instagram, not so much, but TikTok and X, I don't know what's real and what isn't.
Oh, I know. 100%. Yeah, no, it's, I know, God, my 7-year-old son watches videos on YouTube, And half the time I'm like, I think that's AI. I hope that's AI.
Yeah.
Like, just strange things. Like, I don't think somebody can do like a triple backflip before kicking a goal in a net. But hey, yeah. So we're seeing a lot of that. I mean, there's instances of criminals cloning a CEO's voice and then calling the finance department asking for an urgent wire transfer. Deep fake videos being used in romance scams. It's a little more sophisticated than just the back and forth emails. Now they're sending a video with it, and it's completely AI generated. The person in the video is obviously not the person that's sending the message. There's a few things you can look for, but they're very, very convincing. In the videos, unnatural blinking patterns, audio that sounds slightly robotic or has like pauses at odd times, and then just like the usual, the request for urgent action. When something has this major sense of urgency, usually it's better to slow it down a little bit, because they're trying to get you, they're trying to get you out of your element and not checking. So you slow down a little bit, hang up that call if it's a phone call. Call back on a trusted phone number and just verify the identity of whoever you think you're talking to, because those kinds of scams are getting easier and easier to create. Like you said, if you watch some of these TikTok videos, these are people that just have an app on their phone, creating complete AI fictional videos. It's pretty wild out there.
Yeah, I don't like watching the violence online, and I'm not getting political here, but when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, somebody said, "Hey, Charlie Kirk got shot," and I was like, they said, "Here, watch the video." I'm like, "Was this?" I said to them, "Was it AI? Was it deep fake, or was it real?" They said, "Well, look for yourself." And unfortunately, it wasn't. But you just didn't know.
Yeah, I had the same exact thought, and it was then you followed up with some questions. I followed up. I went to Google, went to some different sites to look it up, because it's like you can't trust anything you see these days on the internet.
Yep. What about small businesses, Kevin? Should they be worried about AI tools their employees are using?
I'd say absolutely. I mean, you kind of have to think of it as, the information that you're putting through these large language models or these AI engines, it's kind of like you're posting it to social media. If you have the basic plan for ChatGPT or any of these systems, there's really no protections for that data guaranteed. So if you've got sensitive information or customer data, proprietary code, financial information, or anything that's going into any of these free AI agents, it's basically, it's just being thrown out to the internet. So I would definitely, if you don't have one, come up with a policy. The biggest thing to drive home is never input confidential client information or trade secrets or personal data into public AI tools. And if you're of the size where you can pay the subscriptions, that usually offers you a little more protection about having some guardrails and making sure that none of that data that you put in there is able to kind of escape from within that conversation or within the conversations that are had by your organization. And another thing to look at is, if you have a firewall, some firewalls these days give you the ability to block AI tools. So what you could do is get a subscription through, whatever AI system that you want to use, allow that one through your firewall and block the rest, just to close some potential data leak vectors that'll, kind of make sure that nothing gets out that shouldn't.
Kevin Quinn joining us. He's the CIO with NuMark Credit Union. Folks, this is stuff that's really important. If your financial institution doesn't have a guy or gal like Kevin, then you need to go to a different financial institution. This is top-level security stuff. Could you give us a definition, a brief one, of ransomware, and then how it's progressed over the years, or regressed, one or the other?
Yeah. So ransomware, in the most basic way that we're seeing it is somebody gets into your computer or a small business network, large business network, enterprise, any network or any computer, even as small as an individual computer, encrypts the all the files on the computer, leaves you a little text message that says, hey, I've encrypted everything you have. If you want it back, here's how much you need to pay. Here's my digital wallet. Send me the money and you'll get the encryption key to get everything back. So we've been seeing this for quite a while now. I think the big thing that has caused an explosion in ransomware has been cryptocurrency, making it a lot easier for hackers, attackers to, get paid anonymously. They're demanding cryptocurrency so they can cash out without being traced.
Sure.
Next, we're seeing ransomware as a service. So, just like in our traditional businesses, software as a service, or, somebody offers an email program, they're offering, a ransomware system for hire. So, pay their $15 a month subscription, and you too can operate your own ransomware system. So, it's a way for, multiple people to make money on it. A few people get together, design a system. Some people want to use it. They get in and they're able to get the ransomware installed and then get the get the ransom back. It's really gotten bad now because what we're seeing is double extortion. The attackers are first exfiltrating the data, so they're copying the data to their own systems, and then they're encrypting it, which has now allowed them to say, hey, you have to pay this. I don't care if you have backups or whatever you have. I have your data, and I'm going to release this if you don't pay this ransom.
Right.
So it's gotten a little more threatening, and it has the potential for a lot of private information, a lot of personal data to get out there. So it's really exploded. It's been a big problem for a few years now, but it's really blowing up right now. And it comes from not using basic security. Outdated software is a problem. Not having proper backups. Not training employees on security awareness, things like that. Just it creates an insecure environment that lets the attackers get in.
Scary for sure. All right, Kevin, let's get into maybe some myths that are out there. Cybersecurity myths that people still believe as of 2025.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones is I'm too small for hackers to care about, or I have nothing worth stealing.
Okay.
I think a lot of people think that just because maybe they don't have a whole lot in a checking account, that their identity isn't worth anything, or a retirement account. An identity is worth a lot on the black market, if you will. So, and the other thing is saying, you're too small for hackers to care about. A lot of these are automated attacks, and they're driven through AI. So I think everybody has gotten the email or the notification that their data was involved in, such and such breach, or, you probably had dozens of them. A lot of that information is available on the dark web. So they're taking that information and just running it through AI tools to run, sophisticated attacks, but it's just a spray attack. They don't care who they're targeting. And if they can get a social security number, they could get a good amount of money for that, on the dark web. So that's been a big one. That trying to extinguish that myth of, you really have to make sure that you protect your information. And you could have access to other people's information as well, whether you have sensitive information in your email. So it's always a good idea for everybody to, carry out some good cybersecurity hygiene. Another one is antivirus software is all I need. Antivirus software is kind of like locking your front door. You got to do it, but it's not enough. I mean, you need to make sure that you're keeping your software up to date. Keep your phone up to date. Make sure you have backups of your data. And there's a lot of tools out there to help you secure your data. And I'd say lastly, which I still hear sometimes, is, well, Macs don't get viruses. And it's true that they're not targeted as much as Windows devices are, but there are definitely viruses for Mac computers, plenty out there, and they get exploited all the time.
Yep, they certainly do. Kevin, let's talk a little bit about data breaches we'll hear here on WJOL, we'll see on television. Target or Walmart or whatever just had a massive data breach. What should we do when a company that we use gets breached?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is to find out exactly what information was compromised. So not all breaches are the same. A breach that collects an email address, a name, a date of birth, it's not fun. That kind of helps add to just the amount of information that's on the dark web, but that's not as dangerous as one that includes passwords, social security numbers, bank account numbers. So the first thing is to identify what information has been compromised in that breach. The second one is, if passwords were involved, or, even if passwords weren't involved, I think it's a really good strategy after something like that happens to just change your passwords for any secure system that you have, bank accounts, email, anything else. It's just a good security practice. And really, I think the biggest thing to kind of drive home, and I know a lot of people are guilty of it. I've done it in the past. I don't do it anymore, but using the same password for every system
not a good
is really that creates one key to the castle, and then that unlocks all sorts of things. So, if you're changing your password, change it to something different for each system, something that, you'll remember. The other thing is, after you change the password, not before, after you change the password, set up multi-factor authentication. I'd say the vast majority of systems out there should support multi-factor authentication. Anything that, if you have a bank account and you have internet banking and it doesn't support multi-factor authentication, I would think twice about that institution. I don't think that there's any out there that are like that, because it is a regulation. But
sure,
just if you have secure information anywhere on the web, you want to make sure that multi-factor authentication is required to get access to it. And a lot of sites are starting to employ passkeys now, which I think has some people confused on what that really is, because a lot of times it looks just like MFA. But passkeys are cool because passkeys actually require some kind of digital signal from the device that they're registered on. So, for example, say I have my Gmail and I'm asked to set up a passkey. It might bring me that standard, app. I'll go on the Google app and add the authenticator token with, the numbers on it, or, whatever like you usually do for multi-factor authentication. The difference is that device is now part of that mix. So that passkey doesn't work without that device. So if you're able to get rid of passwords completely and just have a passkey, you've now made it so that if somebody doesn't have that physical device in their hand and that exact device, there's no way they'll be able to access that account. So that passkeys are kind of the future now. Like everybody was talking about, when will passwords go away, or the death of the password. Passkeys are the solution to that issue. It's just adoption for something like that is always going to be very slow, because it's slightly cumbersome. It's a learning process for everyone. And, there's an adoption on the, supplier side as well, and all the, retail sites and internet banking sites to be able to allow it.
Kevin, we got about a minute left, and I didn't even scratch the surface on all the questions, so I'll talk to the powers that be and see if we can get you back in a couple of weeks or in a couple of months. But real quick, of all of our things that we use, smart home devices, which one is the most vulnerable to hackers?
The one that you've never heard of the brand before. It's not reputable. I'll try to go quick, but a lot of times you go on, a site to buy some smart device, and you find a cheaper model for a smart device, whereas the Samsung or the name brand model is a little more expensive. But it's really important to consider those Samsung models, or Ring, or Chime, or whatever other systems. They have really baked in security processes. They're getting regular firmware updates. They're getting security baked into the system, whereas those aftermarket or those kind of like really cheap systems are not getting those same updates. And putting that on your home network is now based.
Good to know. Really, really
weak point in your home network. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So now you're kind of letting somebody get access to your smart microwave and then pivot to your laptop where you have access to your email and internet banking and everything. So I would say choose a reputable manufacturer and make sure that you're setting up the regular firmware updates.
Well done, Kevin Quinn, Chief Information Officer. Folks, when you hear him talk, he knows his stuff, so you know your stuff at NuMark is safe and sound. Good talking to you, buddy, and hopefully we'll talk again real soon.
Yeah, great talking to you. You have a wonderful morning.
All right, brother. Take care. All right, here's the question. $25 Visa gift card hanging out there just for someone. We started off talking about AI. What does AI stand for? 815-254-7300. First correct caller gets a $25 Visa gift card, compliments of NuMark Credit Union. Hi, good morning. You're on WJOL. Who is this?
Hi, Scott. This is Rita.
Hi, Rita. What are you doing?
I have the day off today.
Nicely done. Nicely done. All right, Rita, what does AI stand for?
Artificial intelligence.
You got it exactly right. You are the winner. Well done. Well
ABC
done. Well
News, I'm
done.
Sherry.
Well done. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know where NuMark is located in Crest Hill, right?
Yes, I do.
Stop by and get a $25 Visa gift card anytime after noon today or in the coming days. Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
Want to remind you, learn about purchasing a home at a first-time home buying event at NuMark Credit Union's Bridgeport office on Tuesday, October 28th. This event could help you save thousands of dollars on your home purchase. Come and listen to the panel of local professionals answer your home buying questions. The event is free, and you're welcome to bring friends and family. Light sandwiches and drinks will be provided. Seating is limited. Visit NuMarkCU.org. That's NuMarkCU.org or visit a branch near you for more details.